Hello, my name's Maggie Savin-Baden and I'm leading the discussion with Elaine Casket on the theoretical, social and legal justifications for the protection of memory and privacy of a person after death. But I'd like to begin my presentation by asking 5 questions, few of which I have the answers to. First, to whom does memory belong? Second, who retains the right to privacy? What are the ethical challenges? What might be done and who decides? There are many more people in this symposium who've got much more experience in this area than I. But I would like to explore 2 areas in relation to memory and privacy. First, the issue of ethical responsibility, and second, the issue of hiddenness in relation to privacy. Ethical responsibility. Ethical concerns stretch beyond the legal concerns, since digital memorialisation relates to the social good and thus introduces questions about what counts as the social good and who decides. For example, could or should everyone have the right to a post-death avatar? What will occur if avatars become sentient? Are there different levels of digital memorialisation that require different levels of ethical stance? Currently, as many of the experts here have already pointed out, there's not a single global jurisdiction, and the laws that apply in one country or state may not necessarily apply elsewhere. Which means that the use and abuse of virtual humans across the world, particularly in terms of those who create virtual humans for illegal purposes, for use in a different country from their own, are unlikely to be prosecuted. Furthermore, it's not clear if the actions of the virtual human may result in criminal liability. This raises the question again about the driving force behind this virtual presence. The dead can generally have no criminal liability, but others acting behind the shield of a digital presence may have. Questions need to be considered, such as, if an autonomous combat robot or AI are deployed by the military, whose fault is it if they mistakenly attack or fail to distinguish correct targets? What if a claimant were to attempt an action in libel against a virtual presence? If a virtual human was acting under the deceased's autonomous control, for example, perpetuating social media presence, can a claimant attempt to use the dead person's estate to sue the dead person's estate? So I think it's important to consider many of these issues, particularly given that virtual humans have been developed already, and those being designed for pre- and post-death use. There are few ethical standards, and the standards related to them are complex and far-reaching. My second point is relation to hiddenness. Although in the past death and mourning have been seen as private, the digital has resulted in more open spaces. Yet the hidden nature of some activities mean that one of the challenges of the digital age is that it's difficult to realise what the impact is on the bereaved. Much of what takes place is actually hidden. For example, hidden in the digital, such as keeping mobile phone messages of the deceased or creating digital albums of music and photographs. Issues of ownership and privacy then become areas of hidden contestability. Secondly, hidden from others, such as the quiet and secret creation of pre-death avatars. Those creating a representative interactive avatar pre-death. Design an avatar which is able to conduct a limited conversation, but has limited capability to learn, grow, act on, and influence the wider world. Thirdly, hidden fears. The fear of second loss, of being continually mourning through digital archives. For example, while the living person may consent to their digital afterlife existing, the loved ones of the deceased may hold a different perspective on experiencing this. It's vital I think, in conclusion, to create spaces of debate, despite cultural taboos around the discussion of death and dying, and understand too that the values of people place on this kind of mourning in cyberspace vary considerably. What is often missing from many of the current debates is the place of religion in relation to memory and privacy, and the semiotics associated with this in cyberspace.